Welcome, Syncretists, lovers of truth and friends. Today's presentation is going to be live on YouTube and for the public. I have done this one before many years ago, but it's worth doing again. I don't even know where the first original one that I did is. I don't think it's on my channel anymore. So I think it went down. But nonetheless, this is going up live for everyone, and I'm going to announce that on school I'll be teaching astrology for a couple of months. At the most, I'll do a 3-month course, and that will be on school. And I'm going to be doing it with a whiteboard. So first we're going to do the nitty-gritty scientific stuff. Then I'm going to I just got a message that distracted me really bad. Hang on a minute. Not working. Is everything working there, Nick?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Oh, good. Okay. And then the second half of the lessons will be for reading charts. So we've already got a few people lined up, and then by reading people's charts, we'll learn how to apply the science. All right, so that'll be on school. So for today, I'm going to get right into it, the nursery rhymes. Share this window. Here we go. All right, guys, so nursery rhymes, we've been hearing nursery rhymes since we were little children. Fairy tales. This is not just nursery rhymes. I should have put fairy tales in the... I'll edit that as well, actually, because fairy tales are common and they're usually designed for children. Whereas Gospels are for adults, but they're the same thing, as we're going to see.
Hang up with that. You're sharing the window, not the full screen.
Thank you, Nick. Share this window.
Try to see if you can see the option to share the whole screen.
It doesn't do that, brother. It's just share this window. That's all.
Huh.
Share entire window. Share entire window. Share. Oh no, not this window. No, that was wrong. That's weird. This has never happened before, Nick. It usually has a tab on the outside of the screen. You can't even see my screen, right? Now, so you can't see anything here?
Now I can see your browser, but that's about it.
All right, then I go to my presentation, share this window.
No, I don't see it.
Oh boy, that's weird, man, because that is very weird.
Yeah. Hang on. Is your browser full screen right now?
No.
No? Oh, okay. Okay, so actually, this is difficult to diagnose without being able to see what you're seeing.
Ooh. Use operating systems? No.
Okay, so when you press share screen, oh no, that's not the right thing. Stop sharing that one.
Okay. Oops. Oh, this is...
send me a Zoom link.
Sorry, guys. All right, let's do that real quick. Nick usually fixes things real super fast. Hope everyone's enjoying the solstice. It's been a really weird one. Have you noticed, guys? Unusual, very unusual feeling about it. All right, Nick, I've sent it to you right now, and Nick's going to help me, guys. So, yeah, it's been a very, very powerful solstice. I'm going to discuss that when we do the astrology, but there's some very, very significant conjunctions. The Saturn and Neptune one especially, Pluto and Uranus. Uranus is about to go into Gemini. This is all sort of energy being put on hold. Can you see my screen there, brother?
Oh, hang on. Now I can.
Okay. So I'm pressing here. Share screen.
Oh, okay. Yep. Press a lot.
And then I just press here.
Oh no, not that window. Find the presentation first.
Okay.
No, yeah, where it says in the center. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Did you do it? Ooh, no, it didn't. Stop sharing. Why is it suddenly different now? Oh no, you closed the Zoom stream. Oh my god.
Oh, did I just close the Zoom share? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. See, that works. The Zoom works.
All right. Okay, I have an idea. Press yeah button again on Rumble.
Which one? This one?
Yep.
Okay. Share.
Let's see. And normally you press the share wheel of it, right?
Yeah, I'll just press here.
I see at the very top.
The very top one?
Yeah, try that one. No, that just did that thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the problem.
Okay. Hang on, try again. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I'm not sure why there's a sudden change. Anyways, yeah, press stop sharing.
All right, stop sharing.
All right, press it again.
All right, share. You see what's going on here? Up here, they've limited this. Select a window, see? It's grayed out.
Ah. Use operating system settings. Okay, we can take a look at it later. Yeah, press allow. Yeah, choose that one.
All right.
Okay, try, hang on. Minimize the window.
Show all windows, look at that.
Oh?
On
Yeah,
the top.
show all windows.
No, that's not.
No. Okay, so yeah, minimize your browser real quick.
I can't when
Can't
it's. Yeah, I have to unshare. So, all right, share, then stop sharing, and then minimize the window, right? Okay. All right. Window minimized. Oh.
No, no, it won't matter because because you'll have to go back into the window to.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm stuck here. They've chopped out an option. I used to have an option where it would let me select Keynote. It's not there.
Yeah, I have an idea. What I'm going to say is, okay, you don't have to stop the stream, but close Firefox, reopen, and re-enter here using Chrome. The stream will keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. This is when I wish Sebastian was here. Man, he was good.
Yeah.
Firefox. Oh, you mean Chrome?
Yeah, Chrome.
I don't think I've used Chrome. I think I've set up the other one. No, I'll try Chrome. So I go into Rumble.
Yeah. Bear with us, guys. Oh, you're gonna have to sign in. Oh, it's already.
Oh, Gmail. Oh, no.
Oh, hang on. Top right. Press your profile icon. We're supposed to have a Rumble one.
It's
somewhere.
not. You see what I mean? It's not even there. Where did the Rumble one go?
Let me scroll up. Oh, there it is at the top.
Okay. Okay, 610033. All right.
All right. Yeah. Go to Rumble Studio then. Okay. Yeah. And just enter. Yep. Allow this time.
Allow. Okay. Oh,
Yep. Yeah, you're still on. Now you just gotta re-enable your microphone.
all
There
right.
you go.
Here we go. Now I'm going to share the screen. There you go. See?
Now at the very top, where it says entire screen, and select entire screen. Yeah, you gotta click it. There you go. Yep, allow.
All right.
There you go.
Here we go. All right, guys. Back into it. So, every nursery rhyme. Now, why is rhyme spelt incorrectly? That's weird.
I'm just gonna leave the Zoom.
Hey?
I'm just gonna leave the Zoom call.
Oh, I'll get out the Zoom call, right. Yep. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. But something's changed.
Also, yeah. And one last thing. Just switch off the Rumble camera, so your camera doesn't get in the way of the presentation.
My camera.
On the Rumble Studio. It's in Chrome right now, so you're gonna have to alt tab out. There we go.
So what do I do?
Just switch off the camera. The webcam, yeah.
Right.
There we go.
All right, here we go, guys. Now, stay on with me, Nick. You know why this can't be fixed? I don't like the fact that that rhyme is spelt like that. Anyway, let's keep going. Every nursery rhyme contains profound magical secrets which are open to everyone who has made a study of the correspondences of the Holy Kabbalah. To puzzle out an imaginary meaning for this nonsense sets one thinking of the mysteries. One enters into deep contemplation of holy things, and God himself leads the soul to the real illumination. Hence, al soth necessity of incarnation. The soul must descend into all falsity in order to attain all truth. For instance, now, guess who wrote all that? This guy here, Alistair Crowley, in his fourth book. So these are some of the examples that he brought out, okay? And you can see there the man, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. So this is one of his examples. Old Mother Hubbard went to her cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. When she got there, the cupboard was bare, and so the poor dog had none. Should be something that rhymes with bone, but there you go. Who is this ancient and venerable mother of whom it is spoken? Verily, she is none other than Benar, as is evident in the use of the holy letter H, with which her name begins. Nor is she the sterile mother Amma, but the fertile Ama. For within her she bears Val, the sun. For the second letter of her name, the A and R, the penultimate, is the sun. Tifereth, the sun. The other three letters of her name, B, A, and D, which are three paths, which join the three supernals. To what cupboard did she go? Even to the most secret caverns of the universe. Who is the dog? It is not the name of God spelt Kabbalistically backwards, is it not, rather? And what is the bone? The bone is the wand, the holy lingam. The complete interpretation of the rune is now open. This rhyme is the legend of the murder of Osiris by Typhon. The limbs of Osiris were scattered in the Nile. Isis sought them in every corner of the universe, and she found all except his sacred lingam, which was not found until quite recently. Let us take another example from this rich storehouse of magic lore. All right, so there's old Mother Hubbard. There you go. It's the Kabbalah.
Hang on one moment, guys. Let me get Santos back real quick.
Yo.
Never mind. Now you're back.
What?
You dropped out of the screen, but you're back now.
Okay. Dropped out of studio. I don't know why that's happening. The weather is bad here, guys. I was actually going to cancel because of the weather. I had slow internet all morning, but I thought, no, I want to get this out and everything that I haven't released. So here I am, and I think we're going to be struggling with internet. Let's keep going. This poem, therefore, contains the same symbol as that in the Egyptian and Hebrew Bibles. The snake is the serpent of the initiation, as the lamb is the saviour. This ancient one, the wisdom of eternity, sits on its old anguish, waiting the Redeemer, and his holy verse triumphantly assures us that there is no need for anxiety. The saviours will come one after the other, at their own good pleasure. and as they may be needed, and drag their tails. That is to say, those who follow out their holy commandment to the ultimate goal. There you go. Little Bo Peep, the serpent of light, right? She lost her sheep. It's like a good shepherd. And she said, leave them alone. They'll come home, dragging their tails behind them. So there's no need to be anxious for people who are not saved. We see people sleeping, but little Bo Peep does the right thing. Leave them alone, and they'll come home. They might be dragging their tails behind them, but they will come home. So, little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Up came a big spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet unquestionably represents Malka, for she is unmarried. She is seated upon a tuffet. That is, she is the unregenerate soul upon Tophet, the pit of hell. And she eats curds and whey, that is, not the pure milk of the mother, but milk that has undergone decomposition. Who is the spider? Verily herein is the venerable arcanum connoted. Like all insects, the spider represents a demon. But why a spider? Who is this spider? Who taketh hold of her hands and is in kings' palaces? The name of this spider is death. It is the fear of death which makes the soul aware of its forlorn condition. It would be interesting if tradition had preserved for us Miss Muffet's subsequent adventures, but we must proceed to consider the following interpretation of the following rhyme. And there you go, there's Tophet. Okay, so it's the pit of hell, and that's where they send little children to hell, in Moloch. Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating a Christmas pie. He stuck out his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." So you think, oh, all these, little Miss Muffet, little Jack Horner. Well, Jack is the son, right? Now let's go into the interpretation. In the interpretation of this remarkable poem, there is a difference between two great schools of adepts. One holds that Jack is merely a corruption of Ion, he who goes Hermes the messenger. The other prefers to take Jack simply and reverently as Iacchus. Yeah, that's it. The spiritual form of Bacchus. But it does not matter very much whether we insist upon the swiftness or the rapture of the Holy Spirit of God, and that it is He of whom it is here spoken is evident. For the name Horner could be applied to none other by even the most casual reader of the Holy Gospels and works of Congreve. And the context makes this even clearer, for he sits in a corner, that is, in the place of Christ, the cornerstone, eating, that is, enjoying, that which is the birth of Christ, that which the birth of Christ assures us. There you go. Little Jack Horner sat in the corner eating his Christmas pie. And what an appropriate time. It's Christmas. He stuck it in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." All right, so let's continue with the reading. He is the comforter who replaces the absent saviour. If there was still any doubt of his identity, it would be cleared up by the fact that it is the thumb which is attributed to the element of spirit and not one of the four fingers of the four lesser elements. That's why we always put our thumbs up when we do a thumbs up. It's the ether. The thumb is the ether. The pinky is the earth. Ether, earther. Which he sticks into the pie of the new dispensation. He plucks forth one who is ripe, no doubt to send him forth as a teacher into the world, and rejoices that he is so well carrying out the will of the Father. All right, there's little Jack Horner. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jump over the candlestick. Jumping candlesticks was a form of fortune telling and a sport. Good luck was said to be signalled by clearing a candle without extinguishing the flame. And by the way, and I don't know why, I think it's missing here, but I know for a fact that the candlestick is the equinoxes. So Jack jumps over 4 tropical points every year, or the 8-spoke wheel, including the cross-quarter days. But the candlestick is definitely the equinox of March 21st. There you go, the Union Jack. That's the equinox across the horizontal line. This in the north is Cancer, and the bottom one goes down to Capricorn. And that's 23.5 degrees angle, and that's a 23.5 degree angle. And this is the vertical. And it's in Rome at the Vatican, and that's the candlestick. There it is. Jack jump over the candlesticks. In other words, the shadow from here, the top of the obelisk at the Vatican, St. Peter's Square, hits here, the temple, right? So isn't it interesting that this road here, that when I came to the Vatican, I came from this road here. Of course, you can't come from any other way. You have to come from here, from the top, right? And that road's called Via della Riconciliazione. In other words, the reconciliation, the equinox. So this is the equinox here, okay? And of course, Vatican City is to the left, down the bottom here, facing the east, of course. This is west, and this is east here, right? And then that's south and that's north, okay? So when the sun hits the Tropic of Cancer here, right, in the morning, it comes up, it hits this the obelisk, and then it hits the statue, and it dims the statue, okay? And then in the evening, when the sun sets over here on the opposite side, it does the opposite. The sun hits the shadow of the obelisk, and it goes right over to here. Now, I don't know why the obelisk is pointing to the right. If anyone can explain that, I'd appreciate that. Is that a shadow or a mistake? Because there should never be a shadow going from the North Pole to the south. This is wrong. Something's wrong here. The shadow should stay within these parameters, the equinoxes. And that's the old map that I always use, which actually sorry guys, some wood's falling out of my fireplace and it's very cold here. All right, Jack and the Beanstalk. Well, I bet we all know what that is already. The germ of the story of Jack and the Beanstalk is to be found in old Hindu tales, in which the beans are used as the symbol of abundance, or as meaning the moon, and in which the white cow is the clay and the black cow is the black day. That should be day. Okay. Day, and the black cow is the night. There is also a Russian story in which the bean falls upon the ground and grows up to the sky, and an old man, meaning the sun, climbs up by it to heaven and sees everything. This comes very near the story of Jack, who sells his cow for a handful of beans, and his mother scatters them into the garden and throws her apron over her head and weeps, thus figuring the night and the rain, and shielded by the night and watered by the rain. The bean grows up to the sky. Jack climbs to the ogre's land and carries off the bags of gold. And the wonderful hen that lays the golden egg every day, and the golden harp that plays tunes by itself. It is also possible that the beanstalk, which grows from earth to heaven, is a remembrance brought by Norsemen of the great tree Yggdrasil, which in the North mythology has its roots in hell and its top in heaven. And the evil demons dwell in the roots, and the earth is placed in the middle, and the gods live in the branches. And there is another explanation given, namely that the ogre is the land above the skies, who was once the All-Father, possessed three treasures: a harp which played of itself enchanting music, bags of gold and diamonds, and a hen which daily laid a golden egg. The harp is the wind, and the bags this is all old style. See, I haven't been into these presentations for years, so I didn't have as much expertise in how do I get that across? Anyway, I screwed that up. Anyway, the ogre of the land above the skies, who was once the All-Father, possessed three treasures: a harp which played of itself enchanting music, bags of gold and diamonds, and a hen which daily laid a golden egg. The harp is the wind, the bags are the clouds dropping the sparkling rain, and the golden egg laid every day by the hen, the red hen, is the dawn-produced sun. Thus, in the story of Jack and the beanstalk, we find repeated the same idea which appears in northern and eastern fairy tales and in Greek legends. And so we are carried back to the ancient Hindu traditions and to the myths of nature worship amongst the old Aryan race. Now, I can say for sure, guys, that this not only is the interpretation, but it's also has to do with the beanstalk being. It also is in biochemistry. It's the spinal column, and it's the chrism going back to get the gold in the cerebrum. Okay, so outside of you, it's the sun, right, and the beans are the spiritual truths, etc. Right, and then he had the cows, a black cow and a white cow. There's a reason why they say this, guys. You see, when you pay attention, you get results. You get understanding. Just one tick, back in a minute. Multitasking here. All right. Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill come tumbling after. All right. The germ of the story of Jack and the went backwards. Jack the lad, a self-assured young man who is a bit of a rogue. This is the archetypal Jack, young, roguish, and male. Jack Tar. Sailors coated their coats and ropes of their ships to make them weatherproof. They even smeared their hair and beards to avoid stray wisps getting caught in the rigging. What better name for sailors as Jack Tar than Jack Tar? Yeah, Jack of all trades, the common man who will turn his hand to any form of work. Jack Robinson is the phrase before you can say Jack Robinson. possibly a rare example of Jack that was a real person. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's a proverbial expression that's been around since the 1600s. Jack was the name given to many of the sprites, imps, and supernatural creatures that were imagined to have human form. For example, Jack Frost, an imp that nips our ears and toes with cold. Jack-o'-lantern, a fairy that lives in hedges. Jack-in-irons, a malevolent giant. Jacks, being typically young and mischievous, feature strongly in nursery rhymes. For example, Little Jack Horner, Jack Sprat, Jack and Jill. The latter two of these predate their appearance in nursery rhyme. Jack Sprat was the name given to any dwarf from the 16th century, and Jack and Jill was used as the name of any young couple as early as the 1450s. Now, I'm very disappointed because I know I did a slide here where I explained this as well as Jack being the sun and Jill is the moon. And they climb up the ecliptic to the Tropic of Cancer. And then from there, Jack the sun leads the way in waning and going through summer and the fall to get to where we are today, solstice of winter. So Jack and Jill, they have to tumble down. They always climb the hill, and the hill is always typical of where a holy place of worship is, but it's also the Tropic of Cancer, where Jerusalem is, June the 21st, opposite where we are today, the summer solstice. So they're going up to Cancer, right? But they've got to fall back. Tom, Tom the piper's son, stole a pig and away he run. The pig was, I wonder whether I should, eat, yeah, okay. The pig was eat and Tom was beat and Tom went roaring down the street. This is one of the more exoteric of these rhymes. In fact, it is not much better than a sun myth. Tom is Tum, the god of the sunset, the autumn, called the son of Apollo, the piper, the music maker. The only difficulty in the poem concerns the pig. For anyone who has watched an angry sunset at the tropics upon the sea will recognize how incomparable a description of that sunset is given in that wonderful last line. Some have thought that the pig refers to the evening sacrifice, others that she is Hathor, the Lady of the West, in her more sensual aspect, but it is probable that this poem is only the first stanza of an epic. I'd say so. Let's see what what he continues on saying. It has all the characteristic marks. Someone said of the Iliad that it did not finish but merely stopped. This is the same. We may be sure that there is more of this poem. It tells us too much and too little. How come this tragedy of eating of a merely stolen pig? Unveil this mystery of who ate it. It must be abandoned. Then, as at least partially insoluble, let's consider this poem. And that's what pisses me off. There's pages missing everywhere here. Anyway, as you can see, Tom and I've been teaching for years and years. All these are Tom. And Thomas is the name of the son in the Book of Hermes. That's the name of the son. Why does it ask me to play here? Oh, I see. Okay. So, yeah, you can see here it's probably roaring down the street. That's the ecliptic. It's always Tom or Jack. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1 and the mouse ran down hickory dickory dock. Now, I don't know where you guys are listening from, but when I went to England and I did this presentation in 2013, I think it was this one or another one. It might be this one. I don't. Wait a minute. Let's see which one. A lot of people in England. There were 2 or 3 of these that have never heard these nursery rhymes, which astounds me. I mean, these are all Australian. I don't know why. If any of you Americans or Europeans are listening and you don't know any of these nursery rhymes, can you please let me know? Because I want to know how some cultures miss out on some of these classic nursery rhymes and how they replace them, because they'll have their own. They all will have their own, because remember, every single teaching, nursery rhyme, gospel, mythology, book, science, it all comes from one source, guys, all of it. And with the destruction that happened in the early 1800s after the Council of Vienna in 1812, and Napoleon going around destroying Tartaria, everything was fragmented. And this fragmentation's only been a couple 100 years old, guys. It's not thousands and thousands of years of forgetfulness. No. Only a few 100 years ago, Tartaria was was up and running, guys. We don't know who we are now, and it's only been the last couple 100 years since the Prussian school system was implemented by Napoleon's successors. And we are under the Prussian system, which is very, very manipulative. And they rewrote the history books and everything. So we're sort of, a little bit lost in trying to get to the bottom of some of these. Here we are on higher ground at once. The clock symbolizes the spinal column, or if you prefer, time, chosen as one of the conditions of normal consciousness. The mouse is the ego, mus, a mouse, meaning only sum, I am, spelled Kabbalistically backwards. This ego or prana or kundalini force being driven up the spine, the clock strikes 1, that is, the duality of consciousness is abolished, and the force again subsides to its original level. Hickory dickory dock is perhaps the mantra which was used by the adept who constructed this rhyme, thereby hoping to fix it in the minds of men, so that they might attain to samadhi by the same method. Others attribute to it a more profound significance, which it is impossible to go into at this moment, for we must turn to, all right. So that was all Aleister Crowley above, all of that, everything. Oh. There. All right, and that's the spine. That's what he's talking about. That's hickory dickory dock. 1 is the consciousness. Again in the Kabbalistic tree. Then we have Humpty Dumpty. So, no, this is still from the book 4 of Aleister Crowley. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty got a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again. This is so simple as hardly to require explanation. Humpty Dumpty is, of course, the egg of spirit, and the wall is the abyss. His fall is therefore the descent of spirit into matter, and it is only too painfully familiar for us that all the king's horses and all his men cannot restore us to the height. Only the king himself can do that. But one can hardly comment upon a theme which has been so fruitfully treated by Ludovicus Carolus, that most wholly illuminated man of God. His masterly treatment of the identity of the 3 reciprocating paths of Daleth, Teth, and Peh is one of the most wonderful passages in the Holy Kabbalah. His resolution of what we take to be the bond of slavery into very love the embroidered neckband of honour bestowed upon us by the king himself is one of the most sublime passages in this class of literature. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you don't need to explain Humpty Dumpty. It's the egg of the spirit. Remember, we were one egg before mitosis happened, and all of the tragedies and marvels of our life started from that split. And that's Humpty Dumpty, the golden egg. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a peanut shell. There he kept her very well. This early authentic text of the Hinayana school of Buddhism is much esteemed even today by the more cultured and devoted followers of that school. The pumpkin is, of course, the symbol of resurrection, as is familiar to all students of the story of Jonah and the gourd. Yeah, exactly. Peter is therefore the arat who has put an end to his series of resurrections. An arat is what you call a goy, what the Jews now call goy, which means people who are unawakened. So it's not a derogatory term, although some people choose to use it. Of the Jewish religion, they choose to use it in a derogatory way, but it's not meant to be. It just means the unawakened. That he's called Peter is a reference to the symbolizing of arats as stones in the great wall of the guardians of mankind. His wife, of course, by the usual symbolism, his body, which he could not keep until he put her in a peanut shell, the yellow robe of a bhikkhu. Buddha said that if any man became an arat, he must either take the vows of a bhikkhu that very day or die. And it is this saying of Buddha's that the unknown poet wished to commemorate. So there you go. He had a wife and he couldn't keep her. He put her in a peanut shell and there he kept her very well. Peter, Peter, the pumpkin eater. All right, so it's Peter, Jupiter, the stone, the demiurge. And it's all about the mess that he made by creating bodies. You know, yeah. How many men keep a wife? And vice versa, how many women look after their husbands? And these days, they're both running away from each other and cheating on each other, right? So it's hit and miss. Taffy was a Welshman, Taffy was a thief. Taffy came to my house and stole a leg of beef. I went to Taffy's house, Taffy was in bed. I took a carving knife and cut off Taffy's head. Taffy is merely short for Taffetharath, the spirit of Mercury, Toth, and the god of Welshmen or thieves. My house is, of course, equivalent to my magic circle. Note that Beth, the letter of Mercury, and thus the magus, means a house. The symbol is the symbol of a bull, Apis, the Redeemer. This is therefore that which is written, O my God, disguise thy glory, come as a thief, and let us steal away the sacraments. In the following verse, we find that Taffy is in bed owing to the operation of the sacrament. The great task of the alchemist has been accomplished, and Mercury is fixed. One can then make the holy dagger and take the holy dagger and separate the caput mortuum from the elixir. Some alchemists believe that the beef represents that dense physical substance which is imbibed by Mercury for his fixation. But here, as always, we should prefer the more spiritual interpretation. Bye, baby bunting, daddy's gone a-hunting. He's gone to get a rabbit skin to wrap my baby bunting in. This is mystical charge to the newborn soul to keep still, to remain steadfast in meditation. For in Bai, Beth is the letter of thought, Yod, that of the hermit. It tells of the soul that the Father of all will clothe him about with his own majestical silence. For is not the rabbit he who lay low and said nothing? There you go. It's all about tradition, guys. The rabbit means the sun, the hare, Horus, the fast one. You know, the hare and the tortoise, right? Who won? Well, the moon, the tortoise. Pat a cake, baker's man, bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and prick it and make it with a P. Bake it in the oven for baby and me. This rhyme is usually accompanied with a ceremonial clapping, that of the symbol of samadhi. Compare what is said on this subject in our comment on the famous Advent passages in Thessalonians. The cake, of course, is the bread of the sacrament, and it will become frater, P. Pater, same thing. Father, pater. To comment upon the third line, though, it may be remarked that even among the Catholics, the wafer has always been marked with a phallus or cross. And this is Thessalonians, which he was talking about. And may the Lord make you increase and abound in love for one another and for all, just as we abound in love for you. And may God so strengthen your hearts in holiness that you may be blameless before our God, the Father, at the coming of our Lord Jesus with all the saints. So there you go. Baker man, bake me a cake as fast as you can. So yeah, it's about the sacraments, and again, it's all symbolism of raising the chrism. And then there's the psalm: sing to the Lord, sing to the Lord a new song, for he has done marvelous things. His right hand and his holy arm have worked salvation for him. The Lord hath made his salvation known and revealed his righteousness to the nations. He has remembered his love and his faithfulness to the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth have seen the salvation of our God. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Burst into jubilant song with music. Make music to the Lord with the harp and the sound of singing, with trumpets and the blast of the ram's horn. Shout for joy before the Lord, the King. Let the sea resound and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. Let the rivers clap their hands. There you go, there's the clap. And the mountains sing together for joy. Let them sing before the Lord, for he comes to judge the earth. He will judge the world in righteousness and the peoples with equity. And there you go. There's so what's this one? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Well, that's a no-brainer. The sun and the seven colours, the white light and the seven colours that come out of it, which make all the work, that do all the work for Snow White. And then Prince Charming. The clouds are the stepsisters who are jealous of the sun, and they try to block the sun. All right, so this is talking about Cinderella. And here we have Little Red Riding Hood. Well, that's the sun. When the sun sets, it goes red. And Libra and the Southern Cross, one of the deacons of Libra, is always hiding under the horizon. Above the horizon is Virgo, the Virgin. So the sun is now in Virgo, and that's Little Red Riding Hood. And it always is when it's setting. When the sun sets, it's in Virgo. Symbolically, it's the energy of Virgo, the betrayer of the sun, the woman, the typical Samson and Delilah story. Delilah means the darkness, the door to the darkness, and Samson, Shimshem, means the little sun. And the wolf is one of the deacons, and the cross and the crown. These are the three deacons of Libra. The crown, Corona Australis, lupus, and the crux australis. Now, the one I really wanted to do was this one. Please pay attention to this. We'll come back to this one. And we go to John Fiske. If you ever want to understand all the myths, buy this book. John Fiske, and there should be another one here, this one. John Thackeray Bunce. Fairy tales, their origin and meanings, okay? So we've gone off Crawley and we've gone to these other guys now, John Fiske. I never felt so much like rebelling against the mythologic supremacy of the sun and the dawn as when reading Mr. Cox's volumes. Okay, so let's go down here. As Mr. Taylor observed, no household legend or nursery rhyme is safe from his hermeneutics. Should he, for instance, demand as his property... By the way, guys, hermeneutics is a Christian term as well. So when the Christians interpret the Bible, you know what they call that? Hermeneutics. Yeah. So next time a Christian tries to save you to their 501c3 church, ask them, when you interpret the Bible, what's the word that you use for the interpretation of your scriptures? And they'll say, oh, hermeneutics. Oh, good. So you guys are into Mercury and communication and channeling from the gods, right? Because that's what Hermes is. You're relying on Hermes. Now, Hermes is supposed to be a false god, but you're using hermeneutics as your word for your way of interpreting the Bible. All right. Should he, for instance, demand as his property the nursery song for sixpence? His claim would be easily established. Obviously, the 4 and 20 blackbirds are the 4 and 20 hours, and the pie that holds them is the underlying earth, covered with the overarching sky. How true a touch of nature is that when the pie is open, that is, when the day breaks, the birds begin to sing, and the king is the sun, and is counting out his money, is pouring out the sunshine, the golden shower of Danae. The queen is the moon, and her transparent honey the moonlight. The maid is the rosary-fingered dawn who rises before the sun, her master, and hangs out the clouds, his clothes across the sky, the particular blackbird, who so tragically ends a tale by snipping off her nose, is the hour of sunrise. There you go, guys. So can anyone, does anyone know this one? I'm just can't remember it. 4 and 20, this nursery rhyme here, guys. Please help me. I hope it's here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, no, that's not the nursery rhyme. Very disappointing. Does anyone know the name of this nursery rhyme? 4 and 20. 4 and... Song of Sixpence. Okay. The song. Okay, so it's called Sing a Song. Okay. So let's read it. Sing a song of sixpence, a bag full of rye, 4 and 20 naughty boys baked in a pie. No, I don't like that one. When the pie was opened, the birds began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before the king? The king was in his counting house, counting out his money. The queen was in the parlour, eating bread and honey. The maid was in the garden, hanging out the clothes. When down came a blackbird and pecked off her nose. There was such a commotion that little Jenny Wren flew down the garden and put it back again. Well, there you go. It's all the sun. You just saw that. Okay, that's that one. Sing a song of, and I've got to fix that because I'm sure I had that in there as well. Sing a song of sixpence. Okay. All right, let's go back. And we have Sleeping Beauty. Achilles dies by an arrow wound in the heel. The thigh of Adonis is pierced by a boar's tusk, while Odysseus escapes with an ugly scar, which afterwards secures his recognition by his old servant, the dawn nymph Euryclea. Sigurd is slain by a thorn, and Balder by a sharp sprig of mistletoe. And in the myth of the Sleeping Beauty, the earth goddess sinks into her long winter sleep when pricked by the point of the spindle. In her cosmic palace, all is locked in icy repose, naught thriving save the ivy which defies the cold, until the kiss of the golden-haired sun god reawakens life and activity. So Prince Charming, the one who awakens Sleeping Beauty, is the sun. He awakens the world from the winter. The wintry sleep of nature is symbolized in innumerable stories of spellbound maidens and fair-featured youths, saints, martyrs, and heroes. Sometimes it is the sun, sometimes the earth that is supposed to slumber. It doesn't matter. It's always the sun and the earth and the moon. Beauty and the Beast. Again, the sun and the moon. John Thackeray Bunce. I should have put that right there. There you go. Okay, so John Thackeray Bunce, there you go, Beauty and the Beast, and he explains. In our own familiar story of Beauty and the Beast, for instance, we have the same idea. There are three sisters, one of whom is chosen as the bride of an enchanted monster who dwells in a beautiful palace. By the arts of her sisters, she is kept away from him, and he is at the point of death through his grief. Then she returns and he revives and becomes changed into handsome prince. And they live happy ever after. One feature of these legends is that beings closely united to each other, as closely, that is, as the sun and the dawn, may not look upon each other without misfortune. This is illustrated in the charming Scandinavian story of the land east of the sun, told in various forms. Yeah, so in the dawn are always lovers that are kept from each other. You know, in I think the Japanese one is here. Let me see. Oh no, it's in the other presentation. But there's a Japanese equivalent of this where the sun can never be married to the dawn because he skims over it every day. So he's lonely, and except for the once a month when he's conjugating with the moon, which is a new moon, which happened 4 or 5 days ago. Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, this is the English version of the story, and here it stops. But the German story. Oh no! Wait a minute. This is. Oh yeah. Okay. After the wolf has eaten up Little Red Riding Hood, he lies down in bed again and begins to snore very loudly. A huntsman who's going by thinks it is the old grandmother snoring, and he says, "How loudly the old woman snores. I must see if she wants anything." So he stepped onto the cottage, and when he came to the bed, he found the wolf lying in it. "What? Do I find you here, you old sinner?" cried the huntsman, and then, taking aim with his gun, he shot the wolf quite dead. Now, this ending helps us to see the full meaning of the story. One of the fancies of the most ancient Aryan or Hindu stories was that there was a great dragon that was trying to devour the sun and to prevent him from shining upon the earth and filling it with brightness and life and beauty. And that Indra, the sun god, killed the dragon. Now, this is the meaning of Little Red Riding Hood, as it is told in our nursery tales. Little Red Riding Hood is the evening sun, which is always described as red or golden. The old grandmother is the earth, to whom the rays of the sun bring warmth and comfort. The wolf, which is a well-known figure of the clouds and blackness of night, is the dragon in another form. First he devours the grandma, that is, he wraps the earth in thick clouds, which the evening sun is not strong. The wolf, which is well-known figure for the clouds and blackness of night, so we just said that, which is the evening sun, is not strong enough to pierce through. Then with the darkness of the night, he swallows up the evening sun itself, and all is dark and desolate. Then, as in the German tale, the night thunder and the storm winds are represented by the loud snoring of the wolf, and then the huntsman, the morning sun, comes in all his strength and majesty and chases away the night clouds and kills the wolf and revives the old grandmother again, the earth, and brings Little Red Riding Hood to life again. Or another explanation may be that the wolf is the dark and dreary winter that kills the earth with frost and hides the sun with fog and mist. And then the spring comes with the huntsman, Orion in Taurus, one of the signs of spring, and drives winter down to the ice caves again and brings the earth and the sun back to life. Thus you see how closely the most ancient myth is preserved in the nursery tale, and how full of beautiful and hopeful meaning this is when we come to understand it. So there you go. Oh, Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf is the darkness. The road she walks on in the forest is the ecliptic, and the forest is the world with all its temptations and nasties. Cinderella. Now, the story of Cinderella helps us to find the meaning of our fairy tales, and thus takes us back straight to the far-off land where fairy legends began, and to the people who made them. Cinderella and Rhodope, and the Hindu Raja's daughter, and the like, are but different forms of the same ancient myth. It is the story of the sun and the dawn. Cinderella, grey and dark. Well, really, it's Cinderella. There's another. Okay, let me keep reading. Cinderella, grey and dark and dull, is neglected when she's far away from the sun, obscured by the envious clouds, her sisters, and by her stepmother, the night. So she is Aurora, the dawn, and the fairy prince is the morning sun. There you go, Prince Charming. But I have it the other way around. I think Prince Charming is the moon because she's the charming one, and Cinderella, Cinders, has to be the sun. It's a no-brainer. But you can swap it around, as with everything. There's always many esoteric interpretations. There's even more beyond. I mean, I know there is, but I want to get this done. Yeah, I should be able to finish this in 2 hours. Okay, so we can have just one. Okay, so she is Aurora, the dawn, and the fairy prince is the morning sun, ever pushing her to claim her for his bride. This is the legend as we find it in the ancient Hindu sacred books, and this explains at once the source and the meaning of the fairy tale. Pinocchio, analysis of the movie. The movie? Okay, written by Giovanni Malevolti. Now, Male means wicked, so he was a Freemason. Now, Pinocchio, I've explained this many times, is the pine. Occhio is ocular, the eye, and the pineal eye. Okay, and he became a real boy when he ascended. There are two ways to read The Adventures of Pinocchio. The first is what I call the profane, where the reader, most probably a child, learns about the mishaps of a wooden puppet. The second is the reading from the Masonic point of view, where heavy symbolism will complete without replacing the simple and linear narration of events. The movie starts off with Geppetto, an Italian woodcarver, turning a piece of wood into a marionette. He gives the puppet human-like features, but it remains a lifeless puppet. Geppetto is, in some ways, the demiurge of Plato and of the Gnostics. The word demiurge is literally translated from Greek to the maker, artisan, or craftsman. In philosophical terms, the demiurge is the lesser god of the physical world, the entity which creates imperfect beings who are submitted to the pitfalls of material life. Geppetto's house is filled with clocks of his craft, which, as you know, are used to measure time, one of the great limitations of the physical plane. Out of the pleroma was individualized the demiurgus, the immortal mortal, to whom we are responsible for our physical existence and the suffering we must go through in connection with it. There you go. That was Manly P. Hall dropping in there to say hello. Geppetto has created a great-looking marionette, but he realizes that he needs to keep the help of the greater God to give Pinocchio the divine spark needed in order to become a real boy, or in esoteric terms, an illuminated man. So what does he do? He wishes upon a star and asks the greater God, the architect of the Masons, to infuse Pinocchio with some of his divine essence. Are you there, Nick? I wonder whether you could help me reading. I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, as you can see, my voice, I'm trying to keep it as low as possible because my throat is straining for some reason today. Can you take it away, please, brother?
Yeah, I got this one. So the blue fairy, the representative of the great god, then descends into earth to give Pinocchio the spark of the universal mind, the nous of the Gnostics. It was confirmed by the Gnostic Christians that the redemption of humanity was assured through the descent of nous, universal mind, who was a great spiritual being superior to the demiurge, who entering into the constitution of man, conferred conscious immortality upon the demiurgic fabrications. The fairy confers to Pinocchio the gift of life and free will. Although he is alive, he is not yet a real boy. Mystery schools teach that a real life only starts after illumination. Everything prior to this is nothing but slow decay. When Pinocchio asks, "Am I a real boy?" the fairy replies, "No, Pinocchio. To make Geppetto's wish come true will be entirely up to you. Prove yourself brave, truthful, and unselfish, and someday you will be a real boy." This theme of self reliance and self improvement is strongly inspired by the Gnostic or Masonic teachings. Spiritual salvation is something that has to be deserved through self discipline, self knowledge, and intense willpower. Masons symbolize this process with the allegory of the rough and perfect ashlar.
Thank you. There you go. And this one?
Okay. In speculative Freemasonry, a rough ashlar is an allegory to the uninitiated Freemason prior to his discovering enlightenment. A perfect ashlar is an allegory to a Freemason who, through Masonic education, works to achieve an upstanding life and diligently strives to obtain enlightenment. In the Fellowcraft degree, we see the use of the rough and perfect ashlars. The lesson is to be learned. The lesson to be learned is that by means of education and the acquirement of knowledge, a man improves the state of his spiritual and moral being. Like man, each rough ashlar begins as an imperfect stone. With education, cultivation, and brotherly love, man is shaped into a being which has been tried by the square of virtue and encircled by the compasses of his boundaries given to us by our Creator. The same way Masons represent the process of illumination By the transformation of a rough stone into a smooth one, Pinocchio starts out his journey as a rough piece of wood and will seek to smooth out his edges to finally become a real boy. Nothing is, however, handed out to him. An inner alchemical process needs to take place in order for him to be worthy of illumination. He has to go through life, fight its temptations, and, using his conscience, embodied by Jiminy Cricket, he has to find the right path. The first step is to go to school, symbolizing knowledge. After that, life's temptations rapidly come across Pinocchio's path.
Okay, guys, by the way, Jiminy Cricket is JC, Jesus Christ, okay? Who sits on his right shoulder. That's his conscience. All right. And if you want to just keep reading, well, you can do all the Pinocchio ones,
Cool.
please.
Yep. So the temptation of fame and fortune. On his way to school, Pinocchio is stopped by Foul Fellow, the fox, not very trustworthy name, and Gideon the cat, who lure him to the easy road to success, show business. Despite his conscious warnings, the marionette follows the shady characters and is sold to Stromboli, the belligerent puppet show promoter. During his performance, Pinocchio is acquainted with the upsides of the quote unquote easy road, fame, fortune, and even hot women puppets. Pinocchio, however, quickly learns the great costs of this apparent success. He cannot go back to see his father, the creator. The money he generates is only used to enrich Stromboli, his quote unquote handler, and when he sees what fate awaits him when he grows old. A rather grim depiction of show business, isn't it? He is basically nothing more than a puppet. After seeing the true nature of the easy road, Pinocchio realizes the sad state that he is in. He is caged up and like an animal at the mercy of a cruel puppeteer. He was duped into selling his soul.
Yep, Hollywood.
Pinocchio then gains back his conscience, Jiminy Cricket, and tries to escape. All the good consciences in the world cannot, however, save him. Cricket cannot open the lock. Nothing less than a divine intervention is needed to save him. But not before he is truthful to the fairy, the divine messenger, and, most importantly, to himself.
Okay, guys, pay attention. Are you getting it?
The temptations of earthly pleasures. Back on the right path, Pinocchio is stopped again by Foul Fellow the fox, who lures him into going to Pleasure Island, a place with no school, knowledge, and laws, morals. Kids can eat, drink, smoke, fight, and destroy at will, all under the watchful eye of the coachman.
Beautiful. All right.
And Pleasure Island is a metaphor for the quote unquote profane life, characterized by ignorance, the search for instant gratification, and the satisfaction of one's lowest impulses. The coachman encourages this behavior, knowing that it is the perfect method to create slaves. The boys who indulge enough into this dumbed down lifestyle turn into donkeys and are then exploited by the coachman to work in a mine. Another rather grim depiction, this time of the ignorant masses. Pinocchio himself starts to turn into a donkey. In esoteric terms, he is closer to his material self, personified by his stubborn animal, than his spiritual self. This portion of the story is literary reference to Apuleius's The Metamorphoses or Golden Ass, a classic work studied in mystery schools such as Freemasonry. Hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah, Apuleius. Yep.
Cool.
That was good. That's good. Like Asclepius and all of those stories. And I think you got one more to read. Yep, just this one more. Wait a minute. The initiate. Did we do this one? Yep. Did you finish that? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. The initiation. Pinocchio returns home to unite with his father, but the house is empty. He learns that Geppetto has been swallowed by a giant whale. The puppet then jumps into the
Sorry.
The puppet then jumps into the water himself, and gets swallowed by the whale in order to find his creator. This is his final initiation, where he has escaped the darkness of the ignorant life, symbolized by the womb of the giant whale, and gain spiritual light. The Metamorphosis describes the adventures of Lucius, who is tempted by the wonders of magic. because of his foolishness, turns
Sorry.
himself. This is fine. Because of his foolishness, turns himself into an ass. This leads to a long and arduous journey where he is finally saved by Isis and joins her mystery cult. The story of the metamorphosis bears many resemblances with Pinocchio by its storyline, its spiritual allegory, and its theme of occult initiation. Pinocchio, once he's regained his conscience, escaped the prison of profane life and escaped Pleasure Island.
There you go, guys. It's pretty close. It's pretty close to the Jonah one. Let's. Are you in the mood for reading more? Because I'm burned out. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Okay, well, let's go in this order, and I'll see if I need to change the order of the last 4 slides. Can you please continue reading if you don't mind?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah. So once again, Carlo Collodi was heavily inspired by a classic story of spiritual initiation, the Book of Jonah, found in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Jonah and the whale is also a read in mystery schools. Jonah, who is also the central character in the Book of Jonah, ordered by God to go to the city of Nineveh and to prophesy against it. For the great wickedness is come up before me. Jonah seeks instead to flee from the presence of the Lord by going to Jaffa and sailing to Tarshish. Please forgive any mispronunciations on my end. A huge storm arises, and the sailors, realizing that this is no ordinary storm, cast lots and learn that Jonah is to blame. Jonah admits this and states that if he is thrown overboard, the storm will cease. The sailors try to get the ship to the shore, but in failing, feel forced to throw him overboard. At which point, the scene calms. Jonah is miraculously saved by being swallowed by this large fish, specially prepared by God, where he spent 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah 1:17. In chapter 2, while in the great fish, Jonah prays to God in his affliction and commits to thanksgiving and to paying out what he has vowed. God commands the fish to vomit Jonah out. Oh, I just lost the screen share.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Oh, boy.
I think you might have hit the button by accident.
Stop sharing? No, it's still sharing, brother.
Oh, what the heck? Try restarting the screen share then.
Do I have to go to Rumble? Oh, no. Because I closed Rumble. Oh, no.
Oh, no. You have it open in Chrome.
Oh, there it is. What's that? Chrome. Ooh, I can't see where to share, brother.
I think, okay, so if you have the Rumble Studio open, it should be at the very bottom. It should be like the very middle button to start screen sharing.
God. I don't see anything anymore. It's all changed. Oh, I've got to go to share screen. Okay. Entire screen. I got to go back to the Firefox one. Okay. All right. Go back to Chrome. Now, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Here we go. Last few slides, guys. Be patient.
All right. So Manly P. Hall explains here in the occult meaning of Jonah and the whale. When used as a symbol of evil, the fish represented the earth, man's lower nature, and the tomb. I forgot to pronounce that. The sepulchre of the mysteries. Okay. Thus was Jonah 3 days in the belly of the great fish, as Christ was 3 days in the tomb. Several early church fathers believed that the whale, which swallowed Jonah, was a symbol of God and the Father, who, when the hapless prophet was thrown overboard, accepted Jonah into his own nature until a place of safety was reached. The story of Jonah is really a legend of initiation into the mysteries, and the quote-unquote great fish represents the darkness of ignorance which engulfs man when he is thrown over the side of the ship, is born into the sea. Life, Manly Behold, the secret teachings of all ages.
Okay. Back to Pinocchio. So we can see the thread of the same story, guys. This is the Holy Bible talking about Jonah in the same way as Pinocchio. Keep going, please.
Pinocchio went through the hardships of initiation and came out of the darkness of ignorance. He emerges from the tomb resurrected, like Jesus Christ. He is now a quote unquote real boy, an illuminated man who broke the shackles of material life to embrace his higher self. Jiminy Cricket receives a solid gold badge from the fairy, representing the success of the alchemical process of transforming Pinocchio's conscience from a crude metal to gold. The quote unquote great work has been accomplished. What is there left to do? A crazy accordion party, of course. I didn't. I forgot my accordion.
Yeah. So the great work is the magnum opus. Let's go to the last slide.
In conclusion, seen through the eyes of an initiate, Pinocchio's story, instead of being a series of random adventures, becomes a deeply symbolic spiritual allegory. Details in the movie that are seemingly meaningless suddenly reveal an esoteric truth, or at least a brutally honest social commentary. Inspired by metaphysical classics such as The Metamorphoses and Jonah the Whale, the story's author, Carlo Collodi, wrote a modern day tale of initiation, which the most important aspect of Masonic life. Although Walt Disney's allegiance to Freemasonry has always been disputed, the choice of this story as the second animated movie ever created by the studio is very telling. Many symbolic details added into the movie manifest a great understanding of the underlying occult meaning of Collodi's book. Considering the numerous re-releases of Pinocchio and its worldwide success, one can say that the entire world has witnessed his path to illumination, but very few fully understood it. When put in relation with the other articles on the site, which reveal rather sinister meanings, the story of Pinocchio is an example of the nobler side of occult teachings. Striving to achieve a higher level of spirituality through self improvement is a universal theme found in most religions. Pinocchio still remains typically Masonic and reveals the philosophical background of those in.
That's it. All right. So let's just. We're still sharing. Let me stick with this and go right back to the top. So here we go, guys. Old Mother Hubbard, Little Bo Peep, Little Miss Muffet, Little Jack Horner, Jack Be Nimble, Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack and Jill, Tom Tom, Tom Tom the Piper's son. The Piper, of course, we know who that is, Apollo and his pipes. I think it mentioned it there. No, it didn't, but it is. Hickory Dickory Dock. That's one I remember when I was a little boy. The teacher always used to hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck one, and the mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock. Humpty Dumpty. Everyone knows that one. Peter the Pumpkin Eater. Taffy was a Welshman. Taffy was a thief. A thief. Bye bye bunting. Daddy's gone a hunting. Pat a cake, pat a cake. Sing a Song of Sixpence, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Little Red Riding Hood, and Cinderella. All explained. This is a good book, this one here. This is my favourite book, John Thackeray Bunce. Grab the book, guys. All right. Pinocchio. All right. So let's stop sharing. And it's a shame that I can't get compliments. You're going to be the only one that's going comments, compliments, because I'm not on school. So there's no way of adding other people unless they put the link in. If anyone wants to put their, if anyone wants to jump in, I'll put the link. Do I copy this here, Nick?
Oh no, the participant link at the bottom, the same one that you sent to me.
Okay, stop sharing, and if you want to say something while I arrange that, brother.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just grab that link. Copy invite link. Guys, there it is in the chat. If anyone wants to jump in, I'll put it in the YouTube one as well. And comment away. That's one way of getting around it, isn't it?
Yeah. Mind you, we can only have so many people on at once. I think with me in here, I think we have a maximum of
Okay. Well,
7. Yeah.
it's all right. I don't think we'll have that many, but jump on, guys, if you want to make any comments, please. So all the fairy tales, I've done this many, many times, the fairy tales. So if you've been around and followed syncretism for a long time, you will have picked up these themes, the nursery rhymes, the fairy tales. They're all esoteric in teaching. There's no reason why we would be singing about an egg called Humpty Dumpty, you know, just to put our kids to sleep. It's to put a spell, a good spell, because spells can be evil and they can be good. So the alphabet is a spell, for instance, A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, right? So these nursery rhymes are taught to children to embed in them the seeds of truth, of nature, and the raising of the chrism. Whatever the sun does on the ecliptic, we do up the spine. And remember, the zodiac, Aries starts here, Pisces is your 2 feet, the last sign. So you're going in reverse, like procession, and you're bringing everything back up home. This is where heaven heaved up, the mound of Jerusalem is. And all of these are all mostly Aryan, from the Hindus, from the Indians and the Persians. Okay? The Indians and the Persians were the first Aryan root race. Then the Egyptians and the Mayans, then the Jews and the Arabs, then the Celtic and the Greek, which is Europe, and then the Germans, the Nordics. And so, someone wants to come in. Leo, here we go. I'm not paying attention. Hey, Leo, jump in, brother. Anyone can jump in too, by the way. Just jump on that link, the Rumble link that's in that, both YouTube and Rumble chat.
Hello, hi Santos, hi Nick. I did send you in the chat a comment on the Vatican obelisk. It's actually the shadow northward.
Are you saying that it was northward, because that was south?
Oh, I need to.
That shadow was south.
One second, brother. I just had to mute. There was a double here. Yeah, no, it's wrong. The shadow in your image, in your slide, is pointing northward. The Vatican would be westward, which is to the top of the image.
Yeah, I know, but the sun, that shadow has gone right out of its parameters. It's gone way beyond. It should never cast a shadow that way. There are no shadows pointing south or north. They're all east-west, always. So I think that's just a.
It's very interesting. I can't figure it out. Then
it doesn't really matter, because we know that, like the Union Jack, we've got the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, and in the middle is the equator. So the shadow shouldn't be going this way. There should only be shadows going from Cancer here to Capricorn. So the shadows should be going this way. I don't see why they've got the shadow. I think maybe it could be, if that was a photograph, it may be the angle. It was a little bit to the left and not right on top of the obelisk. So, but it's neither here nor there. We know.
Because all the buildings are casting that same shadow too, you know.
Oh,
If you look at it, the oval ring or the egg ring around is also casting the shadow.
yeah, I can't work that one out, brother. That's an enigma for me.
Yeah. All right, park that. I just wanted to comment on it. I tried to.
Yeah.
In any case, the Vatican building itself, St. Peter's Dome, would be to the top of the image. So we're facing the top is west.
Yeah, that is incredible. Let me share that again just to show you guys that what Leo's saying is absolutely correct. Everything, all the buildings. Let's just go back. Share screen.
Sorry for being so diligent and detail orientated.
Yeah, no, that's what we're doing here, guys. We're putting things together again. All the king's horses and all the king's men can put Humpty Dumpty together again. Yeah, look at that. See, there's a shadow here of the colonnade, right? And look at that. It's actually coming from the north. So what's the sun doing over here? It should never go past this line here, ever, ever, ever. So that's the northernmost point the sun can go. Why is that shadow there and all of these shadows here? Something is wrong, man.
Brother, forgive me. Are we clear on that? That to the west, to the left of the image is the south. So the sun is south. It casts a shadow north.
Well, hang on. Wait a minute. The Vatican is below.
No,
So
the
this-
Vatican is on top.
Oh, that's the Vatican upstairs?
That's the Vatican upstairs. That's running up to the Vatican.
Okay. Well, even so, that should never be going that way. Think about it. Right?
Yeah, but all the shadows go that way. Yeah.
Which means the sun is over here.
Yeah.
which it
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Can never be. Anyway, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this video here for everybody.
I mute myself and I jump back on.
Let's see if we can watch this video because this is a really good video here, and we'll see. Oh no! Are you guys seeing my screen if I go to Firefox? Can you see that?
Yeah, we can still see it.
Oh, good. All right. Let's
Yes.
see.
Yes.
That video has to be available. Oh, you darn rotten Christian. I think that's what it was called. Christianity, Sun Worship Revealed. Oh, no. Who took that? Oh, here it is. Watch this, guys. Are you hearing it?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Good.
Very clear.
There you go. So back to where do I stop sharing? Okay, guys. So there you go. Did you enjoy that?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. Brother, all it is with Rome being on the northern hemisphere, the sun rising east, which is in the south of that image that we have. This photo probably was taken by midday. It would cast a pretty long one, but these things are tall. Shadow facing northwards because to the right side of the image is north. So it makes sense for me in the.
Yep. This is Cancer on the right. I said it was on the left. This is Cancer here. This is the north, as Leo says, and this is Capricorn to the left. The left is winter. Because I thought the Vatican was down here, but it's up there.
Mhm.
Right?
Correct. The Vatican is up to the top of the image, which faces westwards. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we just watched it in reverse on that video, but
Correct.
it doesn't really matter because let's go back. You see, what I'm saying is, how can the shadow be over here, right? It's gone past its parameter. So anywhere on this line here, it's a no-go. It can't go anywhere near there, but there it is. In my presentation, I've got a photo with there, right? And this is from right on top. So never mind, it's neither here nor there, but we saw how the sun works. We see how it casts shadows on that. It's all perfectly designed for the equinoxes, and then of course the equinox is in the middle. And I walk down this road. This is called Via della Riconciliazione. Let's have a look at that. Via
Della riconciliazione, correct, yes.
Yeah. Not with a re in front of it, just conciliazione. Conciliazione means to reconcile. You can see it there. You can see the word. If you put a re, which I did, you can see the word reconcile in English. If we just get rid of that E and change this to, there you go, reconciliation. What does reconciliation mean? To bring together. There it is. This road is called the road of bringing together. This is Easter. And it's a beautiful walk. These buildings here are glorious, glorious. And then when you come in here, it's breathtaking. It takes your breath away, but not in a good way. It's dark. It's very, very, very dark place. Via della Conciliazione. All right. So there we are, guys. If anyone else wants to jump on for a question, we're going to finish in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to get a link to that. I'll make sure I put it in the description. There it is, guys. Grab that link and watch that video on your own. Let's have a look if there's any questions in here. Did you see any questions in the box there, Nick? Worthy of...
Let me see. Where did I leave it?
No, not really. What if Geppetto was working with the deep state? Well, Geppetto is a character in Pinocchio. You're talking about the writer of the book, who was what's his name? Let's have a look at his name. The writer of it was a Freemason, Giovanni Malevolti. Malevolti. That's the guy who wrote it, not Geppetto. He wrote about Geppetto. So yeah, he was working with the dark side for sure. Right.
I do have one nursery rhyme that's stuck with me for quite a while. A couple times I tried thinking about it as well, trying to decipher it as well. Yeah. Are you familiar with the
next day or two, just all that at the beginning where I couldn't share the screen to make this more palatable for the public, because I'm offering this for the public, whereas I'm not normally. So guys, I want to stress, if you're out there on Mr. Astrotheology and you're expecting me to do live content on there, I don't. I probably throw one on every 6 weeks. I'm doing everything for free on Patreon every Tuesday at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. And then on school, it's $9 a month. And that's where we do. I'm going to keep that for sovereignty and stuff, that raising the chrism, which I've already done, and stuff that can get you, banned. This one may get me banned. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what to do, what to say and what not to say anymore. So I just don't upload onto YouTube anymore, really. Anyway.
I don't know if you heard me at all, because I think at some point you cut out a bit. I was going to bring up there's one nursery rhyme that stuck with me for a while, and many times I tried to I would think about it. Are you familiar with the One for Sorrow nursery rhyme?
Which one?
One for Sorrow. It's
no.
No? Okay. Yeah, I'll read through it. So it goes, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret, never to be told. 8 for a wish, 9 for a kiss, 10 for a bird you must not miss, 11 for health, 12 for wealth, 13 the devil, his old self. So many times I would try to think about, it's like, all right, so what could it be referring to? I remember talking to others about it. First thought would have been it's probably talking about the zodiac, which very well could be. Could also be talking about what was it? The planets as well. Although, of course, there being 13, that kind of exceeds a bit. But yeah, that's something to think about, just for anyone else who wants to carry that with them to ponder. I don't know if you are familiar with it as well.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. If you say it again, I could probably come up with a good explanation. Go again.
Yeah. So 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret, never to be told, 8 for a wish, 9 for a kiss, 10 for a bird you must not miss, 11 for health, 12 for wealth, 13 the devil, his old self.
Yeah, it's easy. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
1 for sorrow, right? When you're alone, well, solitude can be lonely, can be sad, right? 2 for joy. When you find your twin partner, you're in bliss. By the way, I added you, Amy. I added two people which I don't see. Leo, do you want to jump off? Maybe it's because they can't. Can you please jump off? I think we can only have 3 participants. Anyway.
Okay, I'm jumping off. 1 second, jump off.
Yeah, thanks, brother. So I added Amy, and so 3 for a girl. So that's the number 3. That it's feminine. Maybe for some reason. 4 for a boy. 5 for
5 for silver.
Of course. 6 for gold. 6 is powerful. It's the powerful sigil of Solomon, right? Star of Solomon. 7
for a secret, never to be told.
That's right, because when you reach the 7th heaven, when you reach the crown chakra, shh. You don't talk about it.
Yeah. So it's also considered the 7th astrological sign as well, Libra. That's when things start getting dark, right? Secrets.
8
for a wish.
Yeah. The power of 8 is unmatched by any other number. Scorpio. It's the most powerful.
It's also desire as well, like even like carnal desire as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so 8 for a wish, 9 for a kiss.
Yeah, the 9th heaven. Kiss the sun.
And 10 for a bird you must not miss.
I imagine that's a teaching that when you reach 10, which is the number of human completion, whereas 12 is divine completion, you shouldn't miss that number, right? Because you want to go to 11, 12, 13. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. Next, 11 for health.
The power of 2, doubling health.
12 for wealth.
No brainer.
And then finally, 13 the devil, his old self.
Yeah, 13 wraps up the 12. Yeah, it's the end.
Yeah.
13 is the snuff point. All right, so where are you then, Amy? Jump on. Still waiting for host to approve. I just approved it. Let's try again. Please try again. But how can she if it's waiting for me to approve it? I just did it. I just approved it. Never mind. All right, Nick. So if you could please get all the clunky bits out, is that doable, or we leave it?
Yeah, we can. It'll be for YouTube. Rumble, however,
No.
yeah. So, yeah. Well, I mean, at least for YouTube, it's easy enough. Once once the thing is done processing after the stream is done.
Oh, there she is. Go, Amy. You're ready to go. You have to unmute.
There you go.
Hi. How's it going?
Great.
So I grew up in London for about 6 years when I was little. And that was where my primary education was. And my mom, she's American, so her mother would send us like songs, like sing-along songs that had a nursery rhymes from America that I'd never heard. So I actually got a little taste of both growing up, but the other kids in my school, they wouldn't have had that knowledge to those American nursery rhymes, but they are different. And even one of them that you were talking about today about market with a P, I remember it market with a B. So some of them are slightly different as well, you know?
Yeah, P and B are interchangeable anyway. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I was surprised when I went to England because growing up in Australia, I got the best of both worlds. We were heavily influenced by Britain, of course, it's a Commonwealth country, and then America in the 60s. So I grew up born in 63. I went to school learning pounds, inches, and imperial, okay? And we had pounds and pennies for paying for bread. Then in the 60s, early 70s, we got off the imperial. We went to metric in Australia. So I learned both systems. I still talk in miles and inches and yards. and then we went to the dollar. And I remember even today, all the old people, they still can't work out how much a dollar is. They're still thinking in pounds. Yeah.
I had to do the same change, and all the units are different as well, coming from the UK. And then to be honest, I feel like that system of measurement makes more sense and using it in tens. Then when I came to America and we had inches and like rather than centimeters, and everything was different. It was very confusing. I mean, eventually I still every now and then have to look up how to interchange different things. But to me, the old system of what you're on Santos in Australia was the same thing that I would use in London. And I feel like it's way better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 12. The dozen is better than the deca. I always say that. The dozen beats the deca by divinity. 10 is so human and mundane. The 12 system is, thankfully, the UK's kept it. I just don't know how it's resisted the metric conversion. But even in America, though, it's imperial, isn't it? They're still doing miles.
Yeah, we're doing miles rather than kilometers. And yeah, exactly. So we're on a totally different system than the UK. It's just like when you drive here and then the next day, like when my dad would visit us and when growing up, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm jet lagged and I have to drive on the opposite side of the road." Because I'd be like, "What are you doing, Dad?" Like everything's flip flopped. Like even um, just what side you're walking on or anything. Like you just, I feel like they almost think with a different side or a different way in their brain than here, and things make a lot more sense. Like the other day, my mom was asking me about a top. Well, I call it a lid. And I was like, "Oh, you mean this, the top, the lid." And she's like, "Yeah, and she's like, "Well, I grew up saying this."
Yeah.
So it happens all the time with her because she grew up in when I was growing up in London, I didn't even know I was American. Like when she told me that she was American, I was like, "Wow, mom, you're American?" Like because I knew my dad was studying in the States, and she's like, "Yeah, you are too." She had to show me my passport that I had US on, and I was like, "Wow, I'm American too." I had no clue, because that's how British she was and I was back then, and so some things would come out, but she didn't really let it because she completely changed. She went there when she was a kid, like when she was 18, to be a nurse. And by that time, she'd been there for a decade and she sounded British. She acted British, so. But it comes out all the time, like where we'll be like, "Oh, well, I learned this," and she'll be like, "I learned it this way when I was little," and she would tell me stories like when I was little for Halloween. I didn't even know Halloween existed when I was in London, like no clue. And she would tell me about the trick or treating and what she would do when she was little. I was like, "Wow, really, mom?" And then a couple years ago, or more than a couple years ago, I was there at a Halloween party. So now it's caught on because they're like, "Oh, a reason to party here," But when I was growing up, there was no such thing. Like nobody partied for Halloween. Nobody celebrated Halloween. No Londoners knew about Halloween. So that's definitely something that's caught on in the last years in England, from my knowledge anyway. But growing up, she had to tell me about it because I had no knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I'm so lucky. I got the best of both worlds. Oh, yeah. So what happened was in the 60s, it was all the UK. We were very, very, Australia was very, very British. Then in the 70s, it was all America. It's yeah. So I got the best of both worlds. And the other thing that I'm very happy for, which gave me syncretism, was that I was born in an English-speaking land instead of Italy. And the reason for that, why I think that's good, is because I grew up with two languages: Calabrese, Calabrian, which is a dialect of Italian. Italian I had to learn when I grew up in my teens. So, but I had two languages, so I was bilingual from birth, right? And then I had the British and the American influence. I had the two languages, and I was Jehovah's Witness, so I knew the Bible inside out, right? So all of these fortuitous things in my life turn out to be a blessing. They turn out to sort of put me in a place where syncretism was just going to be inevitable for an inquiring mind like mine. So yeah, when I do the nursery rhymes, I know the American ones, I know the English ones, the Irish ones, Scottish. It's because I grew up with Irish and Scots and everything in Australia. All right, guys. One more question was, someone said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" Well, when you look in the mirror, you ask that question because the mirror will show you. So, like, if you wake up in the morning, you go to the mirror, it shows what you have to fix. Oh, I've got a bit of breadcrumbs in my beard. Whoop, my eyebrows are all over the place. Get them nice and right. Clean my face, right? So when you look in the mirror and you ask the mirror a spiritual question, who's the fairest of them all? You're not thinking about your physical beauty, you're thinking about your purity. And where are you at? And the mirror tells you, you're going good. Keep going. So it's, yeah, the scrying mirror, right? Alrighty, so I think that's about it. Thanks for your participation, everybody. I can't believe I've had 1,600 views. Can you believe
You're
that?
amazing, Santos. Everybody loves you so much. I
Oh,
hope
not
I get to meet you in person. Really, I want to come visit you.
yeah. Well, I've had about this year. I've had 6 visits from people.
Nice.
Mm.
That's awesome. So you come out of your hermetic state and a little bit and are socializing a little bit more. Good for
Uh,
you.
I would say fully. The reason I retired was I had a bit of a crisis going on in the background. Yeah, I was getting very anxious and very mentally just strained. And I realized that I was going to do some damage if I just kept going. So the retirement was good, but then I realized that again as well, after I got my health back and settled down, settled my mind, got to know myself better, learned to love myself, which I've never ever done. I caught myself cursing from morning to I realized everything you do, if you drop something or bump something, you're always cursing yourself and calling yourself an idiot. So I had to stop doing that. That's why I was calling everybody else idiots, right? Because if you hear anyone out there that's calling other people idiots, it's because they feel that they are idiots. And I learnt this behavior. It's a very Italian Calabrian thing to deprecate yourself. And so when the fruition of my retirement, the results happened, I realized, yeah, no, I can't, like the prophet Jeremiah, I can't stay shut up. I've got to get out and preach.
Nice.
You just have to. You know, whether people are listening or not, whether it's in the private or the public or not, I feel it's my duty and responsibility. I like sharing knowledge. I love it. Always have. I was never afraid to knock on people's doors for 33 decades to talk about the Bible and spiritual things. So, and I was never afraid of public speaking as well. I used to do circuits all around Victoria in multiple languages: French, Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, English. So yeah, I've been blessed in that way. Really, it was very fortuitous that I grew up in Australia with two languages and a Protestant, not a Catholic, because all my cousins, they didn't even know one verse of the Bible. If I quoted a verse of the Bible, they'd look at me like, "What?
Wow.
Who's Mary?" You know, and Mary didn't say that. Jesus, that Catholics don't know the Bible. So I grew up Protestant in Australia, with different economic systems: the dollar, the pound, the mile, the kilometre. So metric to it was all stuff that brought me to where I am. So I'm very, very, very thankful. 420 blackbirds. All right. Wow. A lot of participation in Rumble as well. Thanks, guys. Much love, and we'll see you again. I think I'll do another one next week. If I don't, because of the holidays, and I get a feel that people won't be around, school will be on the 25th, which is Christmas, so I won't do that. No one will be there. And then next week, it'll be New Year's Eve. So school's going to take a hit for 2 weeks. I might actually just, instead of Thursday, I might do them on Saturdays. So I'll announce that. But I'll see how the holiday season's going, and I'm going to be getting another visitor next week, so that might affect things as well, because if he comes, we'll be doing content. So, but you've got Patreon Tuesdays, school on Thursday, guys, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and hope to see you there weekly. Much love, and I'll finish the screen. Take care and see you on the next one.